Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Today I Want to Be Career Exploration Interview. Today we will be talking to Tiffany because she is actually a senior mechanical engineer. And so we will actually be exploring her career. Me and Catherine will, as well as yourself. So now, if this is your first time ever tuning in, to one of our shows, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Tiffany as well as her career as a senior mechanical engineer as well. Now, the great thing about Today I Want to Be, what we do is we actually help kids and youth explore different career fields, one through products and the second way through virtual interviews. So if you're interested in any of our career exploration products that Tiffany and other professionals that I have been, we've been interviewing throughout the year and the month, then make sure you go to that description box because the purchasing link is right there in the description box. Now, if you see, you see Catherine on here and she is, being able to interview Tiffany. If you want your child or your student to be able to interview our professionals as well, and they could be a co-host, make sure you go to that description box because right there is a link that says 6th through college students that we are looking to interview our professionals as well. So make sure you go ahead and give us a virtual shout out. Let us know that you are in the house. And feel free to post your questions and comments in the comment field. Now, if you're watching from any other page other than Today I Want to Be or Martinique Y. Brown, I need you to come on over to one of those two pages so I can see your questions and your comments as well. Thank you, Catherine, Tiffany, for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah,
You
thank you for
are
having me.
welcome. You are welcome. So we'll start with you, Tiffany. Can you just tell the viewers just a little bit more about yourself and how long you've been a senior mechanical engineer?
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, Martinique. Always a pleasure to be a part of your shows. It's always great. So thank you.
Welcome.
So my name is Tiffany Tichy. I am a senior mechanical engineer. I've been in it for about 16 years. I'm originally from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm here in Columbia, South Carolina. And I mean, engineering is what I've been about. STEM is what I'm about. So not only do I do senior mechanical engineer, but I'm also an author, a best-selling author of What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z. And also not only children's book, but also women empowerment books, Saving Lives While Fighting for Mine. And then Pretty Paid and Powerful, empowering the women within. So just children's as well as women empowerment to being a representative as an engineer and STEM advocate.
That's good. That's good. And I'm so happy that you mentioned your books as well, because I know that so many times, people think that they can only just do one thing. But no, if you're passionate about different industries, other things that may not even go hand in hand, but you're just interested, just go for it, like Tiffany did as well. So now, Catherine, can you tell our viewers what you're interested in, as well as what grade you're in, and what you want to be when you grow up?
Okay, well, I'm in 10th grade.
Mhm.
I'm interested in programming, and when I grow up, I want to become a computer engineer. So like a sort of like
Nice.
so kind of what Miss Tiffany does here, but with like a different branch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we'll get into that specifically about what type of engineer that Tiffany is, because I know last year I actually had we featured a computer engineer. So I just think it's so cool how many different facets an engineer can have as well. So we'll start with you, Catherine. Catherine, go ahead and ask Tiffany your first question.
Okay, Miss Tiffany, I would like to know what steps did you take to become a mechanical engineer?
All right. So as far as steps it takes to get to become a mechanical engineer, I actually didn't know which type of engineer I wanted to do. So growing up, I had two parents. As far as my mom was an educator, and then my dad was an entrepreneur hardship. As far as and hard work, the importance of hard work. And so what I decided as far as engineering is based off, I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. And so problem solving is what stood out, is why I decided to do engineering itself. The math and the science was always important as far as why it tied in it. So my parents had us, my brother, he's a civil engineer. And so they had both of us, Bobby, into a math and science Saturday Academy. So that's what encouraged me and him to be able to say, okay, let's tie those in and become engineers from that end and problem solve. So I actually went into school, I went to University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and I went in undecided engineering. So they had that as an option. And so I went to the introduction class, intro to engineering class. And from there, I was able to decide which engineering was the best one for me. I thought mechanical engineering was the broadest of them all. Anything that moves is mechanical engineering. I'm just gonna give you a brief why I decided. So I tell us anything that moves, anything that moves is mechanical engineering. Anything you cannot see is like electrical engineering, wires, computers, and anything from road structures, transportation, buildings is civil engineering. And so I thought out of all of those, mechanical was the broadest of them all. So that was my steps to get to where I am. And I've been rolling with it. I deal with pumps, pipes, valves, and all of that type of equipment, but I thought mechanical was the broadest of them all.
So now we know that you are a senior mechanical engineer. What's the difference between a senior mechanical engineer and a mechanical engineer?
It just comes with the title. As far as levels, I've been 16 years in the industry. So, I mean, I've been different titles at different companies. Every company has a different, what they call street names. So you're still a mechanical engineer, but the level of time work also plays a role with it. Like I said, I'm 16 years in the industry. So for my company, senior engineers play a role with that. You have principal engineers, you have different levels of engineering as well. And so it's just based off of the time frame of work. And then your company has different titles for mechanical engineer or engineer as well.
So does that automatically mean that you have people under you?
Not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. That's why I say it comes with the career. I have had where I've worked where that's more management style, where you have direct reports, you have leads. And so there's different titles for different positions. I've been assistant lead before. And so from that, you have people under you, but still there's teamwork where you're working with others in different ones. So, yep.
Okay. So now can you talk to us about if there are a lot of Black women and men in engineering? Specifically, let's say first engineering and then specifically mechanical engineering.
Right. Well, I say any engineer. So as far as the question of whether there's a lot of mechanical or just engineering period, as far as underrepresented minority, it is a work in progress. My favorite quote is from Shirley Chisholm. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And so from that, there is a need still. We still need more women, females, as well as underrepresented minorities. So yes, work in progress, but I'm gonna tell you the organization that helped me and can help others is the National Society of Black Engineers. That organization, NSBE, is the foundation of trying to help more of us be able to see ourselves in that career of engineers. And so NSBE, and then from a women's perspective, you have SWE, Society of Women Engineers. And so there's so many different opportunities and networks and opportunities through organizations that cater to help and promote more of it. And so I will give props to NSBE, and I'm a lifetime member of it as well. So that is what helped me guide me. I did it in collegiate during college. I'm active now as a professional. So there are organizations that's pushing the needle, pushing the agenda to try to encourage more to go into the field.
And the last one you said, Society of Women Engineers?
Yes, SWE is what they call it for short. So that's for women. It's representing women, trying to encourage more women into the field. There's a need. There's a need for you and girls and women. So we push that. I push that. And so, yes, there's organizations out there, and they do outreach opportunities. We go and talk to the students. We all do different hands-on activities. So that's what encourages more to get into these type of fields, because they can see that representation matters. I push that STEM representation matters.
So why do you think there isn't a lot more Black people represented in your field?
A lot of times it comes to opportunities. I push that it's important to start early. A lot of times, if we don't get them early on, I think that's what's missing the mark as far as opportunities, access, exposure, and knowledge. Those 4 key things I would say are key to why there is a need for it. Because representation matters. a lot of them don't see themselves in it. When I go and talk to these kids, and a lot of them might be underrepresented minorities, I ask them, who's met an engineer? And a lot of them say, no. But by the time we've done presentations, I've showed them that, hey, this is an engineer, and they see that you can do it too. At the end of the day, I ask this, and then we've done hands-on activities. At the end of the day, when I ask that same question, who's met an engineer, all hands should go up. And so that's what makes my day of wanting to encourage more, because we don't see more. So I think it comes down to the representation. They got to see it. They got to get exposed to it. And I say start early. Like my book, What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z, I start from K to 2. Third grade is that prime time when they decide what's going to happen with that child. And so if we can get them early, I think that's going to be the key to trying to encourage more of minorities, Blacks, all diversities to be able to be a part of it as well.
And if you're interested in Tiffany's book, make sure you go to the description box, because all of her contact information is in that description box, as well as you can connect with her on social media as well, so you can purchase her book. I'm a big advocate of exposing kids early to the careers that they may be interested in, and not even if they're not interested in it, expose them to it, because they might learn more about it and see that they're interested in it. So please, adults, it's our responsibility to really expose kids to these different things. I'm so thankful that Catherine wants to do something that we do not see a lot of Black women doing. So Catherine,
yes,
we're going to stay in touch so you can be featured in our products, and hopefully this conversation will be a lot different, you know, by the time you become a computer engineer. So go ahead, Catherine, with your next question.
Okay, so I'd like to know, what steps in your life help you achieve your goals? So it's nice to know what's supporting your life. So who helped you achieve your goals?
All right. Well, like I said, I had two parents. I was blessed to be able to have my mom, who's a teacher, entrepreneur, dad. And so those were my starting points. They were my support. They encouraged me. And so as I was in that class as a girl, where it's a male dominated field, where the boys thought they were smarter than me, I was that one in the classroom who said, no, I could do it. And I had that mom who would come to the classroom and talk to the teachers and say, no, my child is good. So that was the beginning stages of having support. I've had variety of support from all over, from, like I said, the organizations that I'm a part of with NSBE, SWE, my sorority. I'm in a Delta Sigma Theta sorority, the Links Incorporated. Like all these ones I'm a part of, there is a support system that's encouraged me. Also, while I'm in it with engineering now. And so in college, I mean, the support is there. I took advantage of all the opportunities, any opportunity where I could get exposed to in college, I took advantage of it. And the support was there to encourage me. So I'm going to say my foundation was my mom and my dad, and then my family, aunts and uncles, all of them. And then my brother, I cannot forget him. He's a civil engineer. He just had a birthday. I shouted him out and I said, you know, he's my inspiration too. Me and him been rolling together. He acts like my big brother, but he's not. I'm the oldest. But we've been rolling together because we're in this STEM journey. We're in this engineering journey together. So those have been my key ones, my rocks of trying to support me through this journey. And of course, I got friends and other families and all the different things that supported me. So that is who's been key for helping me. So thank you for that question, Catherine.
That's such a good question. Can you talk to us, Tiffany, though, about how you maintained that mental strength to keep going when you, especially because you don't see a lot of people like yourself in this field?
I mean, I'm gonna get spiritual. My mom, the classes, my mom would tell me, God has not brought you this far to fail. So you talk about support. Let's go back to support. God is my support. So I have to put that out there. My faith is my support. And that's really what's guided me to be strength. And when we talk about being an engineer and being in a female aspect with a male dominated field, I just remain encouraged. I remain uplifted and persistence. I don't let anybody tell me I can't, because it just pushes me even more. And
say it again, Tiffany.
I don't let anybody tell me I can't, because it just pushes me even more. It does at the end of the day. So that's been I talk about in my book, my book with Saving Lives for Fighting for Mine and the Pretty Paid Powerful 40 Days, that persistence, being able to be persistent is the key, and resiliency. We got to be resilient. And that's really what's pushed me as far as being consistent, persistent, as well as resiliency has really been good. And so I just remind myself daily, I went into this, I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I was okay with that because I knew what I was walking into with engineering. And so I just remind myself of my why I do it, and why I'm making a difference, and I'm representing for females like you, Catherine. I want to be that example. So that's my why, to be able to keep pushing every day, because I'm making an example, and somebody else paved the way for me. So I'm all about paying it forward. It's another thing why I keep doing what I do in engineering.
Good. That's good. So now, Tiffany, finish this sentence. If your child enjoys blank, they may enjoy the engineering field.
All right. So I say this all the time. A lot of parents see their kids playing with blocks. So if your child enjoys playing with blocks, if your child enjoys putting things together early on, then they might be an engineer. If they enjoy thinking about how things can change, then they might be an engineer. So do not sleep on your child earlier on who's already interested and curious. I was that curious child. Let me tell you how, if your child plays with my brother back in the day, Teddy Ruxpin. I talk about this all the time. So Teddy Ruxpin was a talking bear back in our day. My brother, as an engineer,
tore it apart.
He put a hole in the stomach and put a radio inside of it. So if your child is doing different things, start thinking that might be an engineer in the making. So that's just one example. If your child is playing with certain toys or curious, then they might be an engineer. And
but I think that might be a little difficult for parents, because we look at, as a parent, they might say, my child is just this destructive. They like to just tear up stuff.
Right.
So how do we find a balance in that?
And that's also with teaching as well. And because some of them aren't being challenged as well. And you just have to remind your child is being challenged where they want to, their mind is thinking and of what can they do to make things better. And so parents have to change the mindset of what is it that they are trying to make? What are they trying to change? And think in a different perspective. We talk about engineering, there's a design process. There's a, you plan it out, you test it, you try it out, and that thought process comes with it. If we can start earlier on, parents and educators testing them out early, I think that's going to be the key, using that design process. What is it? If it didn't work this time, what do I need to do to make it better? And so if we can get parents to also think from a STEM mindset of the child, it's not destructive. It's just see what is it that they're trying to accomplish and try to think from a different perspective of how they're trying to improve and make it better. That's how I would say it from there.
So Catherine, let me ask you something. Why are you interested in becoming a computer engineer?
Well, it's kind of silly, but I loved watching people in movies, like so like be able to like create things, like be able to like make inventions. Like whenever like I'd see characters in sci-fi movies like make inventions, like make airships or like machines that could like control cars from far away, or like glasses that could see people's emotions. I always thought that was like insanely interesting. So that's sort of what pushed me into becoming wanting to become a computer engineer.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, it's just so fascinating, the things that we're interested in. And I definitely hope, Catherine, that regardless of what people come in your life or what things that happen, that you continue to pursue what you're passionate about, what you enjoy doing, because so many times, we know, me and Tiffany know this, just as adults, we have so many friends that may just really just hate their job, and that's why I really want to encourage you and other students that's watching, please just go ahead and pursue those interests that you have now, especially explore them at such a young age where you don't have all those financial responsibilities as well. So the local library is another great place to explore different careers as well. If you have not already joined Today I Want to Be YouTube channel, you can always catch up on all of our other interviews from our past professionals as well. So go ahead, Catherine, with your next question.
Okay, so I'd like to know, what do you enjoy / dislike about your job?
What do I enjoy / dislike about my job? Okay. Well, like I said already, I enjoy that I'm making a difference with the career that I have. Like I said, I know I was going in, it was going to be a challenge. So I know the fact that it's going to be a challenge. So that's the dislike part, but not really dislike, because every day is never the same. I'm gonna just tell you that. I go into the day and it's always constantly something has changed, from a different equipment to the paperwork to all the different things that I have to do. And so a lot of times you just don't know what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, I like what I do because I know that I'm making a difference, and that's what pushes me more. And then, like I said, I'm representing as a female, African-American female in the field. So why I enjoy what I'm doing, because I'm making an impact and encouraging more females like you to be able to see that you can do it too. Things I dislike, like I said, it's a challenge, but it comes with the territory, and you never know what you're going to get. But at the end of the day, I'm making a difference.
So now, Tiffany, you mentioned to us you work with pipes, and what was the other thing?
Oh, pumps, pipes, valves, like all the mechanical equipment, like anything that helps make things move. So I'm in the energy industry, so power. So all that's there. So the where I work, I deal with equipment that's going into the power reactor system. So anything that's generating to make the power, I'm at the beginning stages of dealing with equipment that deals with that.
So does your equipment go into these different maybe buildings that we're seeing? Is that on a larger scale?
Yeah, so the work that I do is in the energy sector. So I deal with chemicals that goes into, so I begin at the beginning stages of chemicals that goes into fuel rod reactor system. Okay. So it's generating through different equipment that goes out into different power plant industries that's making it. So from there, it goes out into the world to generate power. So it's more of the equipment that generates power to go out to the others from that end. But a lot of times the work that I do, I'm working with equipment. I'm in the design side. So a lot of times I'm dealing with calculations. I'm dealing with specifications, which is defines the different key things that needs to be done for equipment and making sure that it works. And so those are some of the things in engineering, like I said, the design process, thought process, making things work, drawings. I work with a lot of other types of engineers. So not only am I mechanical, but I have a team, electrical, civil. We all have to work together because you got to put it all together. One cannot work without the other. So I'm working with other teammates that's electrical and civil, and go from that end as far as the work that I do. So I collaborate with other departments, other engineers, and we all come together. We have meetings to make sure that the equipment is getting done. But I deal with a lot of design work for different equipment that I had mentioned as such.
And when we say design, that doesn't mean you have to know how to draw.
No. So what we do is, as an engineer, we also have another team, like I said. So we have drafters, which is what they call them. So we have those that do the drawing and do the AutoCAD and that too. So that's another whole career that could play a role with it. But like I said, everybody, I sort of stay in my lane, but I understand the drawings and I can mark them up and say, this needs to be changed. This needs to be done. And look at the different equipment, different sizing, all of that plays a role with it. But I'm working with a drafter who helps update the drawings when it comes to the design side of things.
So now it sounds like you have to actually have a lot of patience, you know, because there's problem solving. Talk to us about how at a younger age, at a younger time in our life, how we can start developing patience if this is a field we want to go into.
You have to be patient, even with the math and the science. I mean, you know it from the classes you take, Catherine. You have to be patient because the numbers do not lie. And so it comes to the work that you do and being patient and knowing, and it's another thing, just knowing that you're just as capable and competent to get the job done. And that's the biggest thing with the work that I do. It's technical side of it. So just know I got the degree. I graduated with a degree, so I'm just as capable to be able to get the job done, and working with others and knowing my capabilities and what I'm not, but being patient to work with those that maybe can help me and not being afraid to ask. When you talk about being patient, not being afraid to ask. Even with your classes, if you're struggling with some of those classes, Catherine, and different things, not working with a team, that's that teamwork. Study groups. I mean, I learned that in college too. Study groups, but get productive study groups. I'm gonna tell you that, because sometimes you got people who get off track and not just focus. So you got to stay focused when you talk about being, oh, you get it. So when you talk about being patient, you got to stay focused and stay the course, and know what the end goal is when it comes to that. So you do have your days where you can get frustrated. I have my days, I do. But at the end of the day, I have to learn to be patient. And I will say, just be anxious for nothing is the biggest thing. My dad would always tell me, it's from the Bible, be anxious for nothing. Because a lot of things I want to do and accomplish, but sometimes I have to be patient. There's a process that needs to be involved with it. And even with engineering, there's a process. Like I said, the design process, there's a process. It can't just jump and it's going to happen. And some stuff doesn't happen overnight. And that's the thing we have to learn when we talk about being patient.
Definitely, definitely. Now, if you're just not tuning in, you are watching our Today I Want to Be Career Exploration, where we are learning about becoming a senior mechanical engineer. We're talking to Tiffany and myself, as well as Catherine. We are the co-hosts. And so you make sure you go ahead and post your questions and comments in the comment field. If you have a question for Tiffany as well, make sure you go ahead and share this video now. Shout out to Courtney as well as Dr. Keisha, who is on and tuning in. Make sure you guys go ahead and share this video now. So now, Tiffany, some parents may not even know where to start when it comes to introducing their child to your field. What would you tell a parent to start doing in order to help their child explore the field of engineering?
All right. So what I would say, start exploring by getting the different hands-on activities. If kids can visualize different things, robotics, that's a key one that's always been good. There's different challenges, there's robotics competitions. If kids can start early, start with my book, of course, What Could I Be? Still Careers from A to Z, the children's book where it talks about all the different careers. Start with that too. Available on my website, tiffanyteachy.com. But definitely hands-on activities are important. If you could get them to start by seeing how they could put things together, I think that's a great start. Encouraging them to explore challenging with math and science. Don't just start with the lower types of math. If they are just as smart, put them in AP, the different honor society type ones, honor programs. I think that's going to be good too. We were in a lot of those type of math and science type of classes. So if you can get them on to start trying those, I think that's going to be key too. I would say for parents to look at as far as, getting them started.
Definitely. And there are so many STEM organizations. Now, I'm telling you, when I was younger, I didn't even hear about STEM. I didn't even know what STEM was. I don't even know if that's like a new acronym now or anything, but just Google STEM and see if there's any organizations in your area. Because of COVID, a lot of these organizations are doing things virtually. So I'm always putting the responsibility on the parent. We have to be so proactive in finding these opportunities for students and for your child. So, we got to push them. We got to push them because they can become great. So, Catherine, you can go ahead with your next question.
So how often do you get time off? And how do you spend your time off?
Ooh. Well, now, okay, a lot of things have changed because of the pandemic, of course. So I work at the power plant. I work at the plant. But when COVID happened, we had to adjust and start working from home. So a lot of times I'm working from home remotely and adjusting to that. I'm just now going back to going to the plant. So a lot of it depends on the project work and everything too. But I will say, I just came back from Jamaica. So that was a plus, a much needed vacation. I'm learning also the importance of self-care, being able to, what they call, not work-life balance anymore, they call it work-life integration. Because it's tough to be balanced to everything. So integration, how are you being able to integrate with other things in life and everything? So I've learned to, I take time off. My schedule for work is I work 4 9s and an 8. So I get every other Friday off. So that's been a plus. So it just depends on the company and the job also of the hours. So I do get every other Friday off. So that has been helpful. And as far as having some time to myself or getting errands done as well. So, but yeah, taking the vacation is good. We didn't get to do it as much. It rolled over a lot because the vacation wasn't really vacation last year. But this year I was able to partake in going to Jamaica. So
now Dr. Keisha asked the question, did you grow up wanting to be an engineer?
Actually, I thought I could argue and do all that, so I thought I could be a lawyer. So initially, I actually wasn't thinking about engineering. And I'm gonna tell you, not only did my brother and I in math and science Saturday Academy, but like I said, my dad was an entrepreneur, owned his own barbershop beauty salon, and the guy that he cut was a civil engineer. And that's what you call social capital. It's basically, he told them, hey, you should get your kids into you should get your kids into engineering. That is a great opportunity. And so it's from that standpoint what pushed us to say, okay, let's look at engineering. So no, initially I didn't want to be an engineer. I thought I could be a lawyer and because I could debate and do all that stuff too. But ultimately when I found out that problem solving, math and science was key, that's what got me and pushed me to wanting to do it.
So now, why did you actually want to be a part of the Today I Want to Be products?
Why not is my answer. I'm all about paying it forward. I'm all about encouraging others. And when you're talking about the youth, I think everybody knows I love the youth. I love giving back. And so when the opportunity was given to me and then just the partnership, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be able to put it out there. The need, like I said, representation matters. They need to see that engineers look like me and they can do it too. So when the opportunity happened with being able to share it, I said, why not? Why not? And so it's been, I've just enjoyed the partnership, being able to take part in it and just sharing my gifts. And I think that's the biggest thing as far as engineering, sharing my gifts. And I think that's been the biggest thing and my passion. So that's why I took part in it. So why not be a part of it is my question.
That's excellent. And we definitely appreciate you for being a part of it, just because, like you said, we need that representation. I was so excited when you decided that you were on board. If you are interested in allowing and helping kids and youth explore your career, make sure you go to that description box, because right there at the bottom, it will say become a featured professional. So right now we're looking for our 2022 products, we're looking for Black women, Black men, and Hispanic women as well. We add a different gender and ethnicity every single year. So we're added on our Hispanic and Latina sisters. And so we want to continue on with that. But the thing is, you must love what you do. We don't want any Debbie Downers here on the show representing their career field. You have to love what you're doing as well. So Catherine, if you have another question for Tiffany, you can go ahead and ask her.
Okay, so I'd like to know, how is the average day on your job?
Right, and I might have shared a little bit of it. So my average day, okay, so like I said, it's changed a little bit. This pandemic, so it varies. And that's why, engineering, you never know what you're going to walk into. So it can vary. But just going for an example, when I have to go to the plant, I have to dress out, and safety is important. That's what they push. When we have our meetings, safety topic at the very beginning is what we talk about, making sure that we're safe. So a lot of times I have to dress out and wear safety glasses, steel-toe boots. If I'm going into what they call the chemical side, I have to wear a laboratory coat. So it just varies on whatever the project I'm working on. So the typical day could be me going to the plant, having to make sure I'm safe with the gear that I have on, or it could be me here working remote. But a lot of times I'm in meetings, trying to make sure I get things done with the design process or modifications to different equipment. And so it's just collaborating with other engineers, collaborating with other departments, because project management plays a role with it too. We have to stay on schedule. We have to make sure that whatever dates we say or milestones or key things they say is going to happen, we have to track it. So we deal with project management, we deal with the engineering side, but we all work as a team to try to get the job done. And so it varies each day. But at the end of the day, it makes me feel good when we get, little wins. They say little wins help you get to it. So every now and then we get those little wins, and that's been helpful for me each day. So that would be my typical day. Like I said, it varies if I'm now working from home or either having to go to the plant.
Catherine, did you have any other questions for Tiffany?
Well, I had no more that I had written down, but I might think of some.
Okay. You just let us know. So for this question, I know that you mentioned a drafter, and then we have our civil engineer, and then we have, of course, our mechanical engineer. What are two other positions in the engineering field that parents or educators could help students or kids explore as well?
So of course, electrical engineering. So you also have to deal with the wires and cables and all of that, computers as well with the computer engineering. So those would be the electrical and computer engineering would definitely be alongside with the civil and mechanical. Those are those three key ones, and then it starts breaking off into other ones. I am in my book, What Can I Be? STEM Careers from A to Z. I have utilities engineer. I have transportation engineer. So it's all different ones, but it depends on the different industry you're in, what company you work for. But those are some key ones as far as the power industry that I deal with as far as some of the positions. But like I said, there's a robotics engineer. Remember I said as far as robots, kids can start off with that. There is a robotics engineer, and that's mentioned in the book as well. But the sky's the limit. Engineering is everywhere. Anything that you see out here, the engineers touched. And that's the biggest thing that we have to realize as far as with parents and educators and STEM advocates to know that somewhere an engineer's tapped into it. So the sky's the limit with the different types of engineering that's out there.
So now, Tiffany, what would you tell your younger self? Just
keep being that curious girl. Don't let nobody tell you differently. It's not going to be easy, but know that you can do it. I tell a lot of, I sign the books. If you believe it, then you can achieve it. So that would be what I would tell my younger self is the sky's the limit, and don't let nobody tell you you can't. I'm gonna go back to that because that's what I've been driving from what I've dealt with life in general. And know that you're beautiful, you're smart, and you're just as competent. With brains and beauty, at the end of the day, that's it. You can be just that and achieve no matter what. And that's what I would tell my younger self.
It's good. It's good.
And I would tell Catherine too, and I would tell all the young ones.
You tell me.
I'll tell you too.
One of the things that I thought was very interesting, we actually interviewed our optometrist. He is an eye doctor. And so one of the things that he was mentioning to us was he shared that I was not good at studying. So he knew that he had to work so much harder. He had his goal. His goal is to become an eye doctor, but he also realized there was something he wasn't good at. So that didn't stop him from pursuing and achieving his goal, but he just knew that he had to work so much harder in this area that he wasn't that strong in and still achieve his goal. Talk to us about something that maybe you weren't as strong in, but you had this goal and you said, you know what, I know I might have to work 5 times harder as the next person, but it's still going to get done.
I'm going to let you know, engineering was not easy. A lot of times the classes we had to take in college was chemistry, physics. I took calculus 1, 2, and 3. And so I will say it did take me a while to grasp it. The concept sometimes, I sometimes had the same professor. I was like, oh, why do I have to keep having this same professor? But I had to make sure that I was in that professor's face. I had to make sure he knew who I was and that I was still in it for the win to do well in the class. And that's one thing I think helped me, as well as, like I said, the study groups. I had tutored. I did get tutored. I was challenged a little bit with the chemistry. It was challenging to me, but at the end of the day, I got tutored. There was opportunities to partner with others that's doing great in the class.
Yeah.
And so I go back to, don't be afraid to ask. And that's what's key to your success, because if you just sit there and just let it fail, you're gonna fail. And I refuse to go through college and allow myself to fail, because I didn't go there just to do that. I gotta get a degree. And so and then with life now as an engineer, I just continually, if I have to ask for help, don't be afraid to ask, because you rather get it right than just make it where it doesn't work at the end of the day. So yeah, that would be one thing. It wasn't easy, but I graduated and I got the degree, and nobody can take it away from me. That's what I have to keep saying. Nobody can take it away from me. And that's the important part, is once you get that degree, nobody can take it away. And so that's what I remind myself of. It wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, I graduated with it, and nobody can take it away.
Definitely.
Okay, so I'd like to know, what's your favorite project that you worked on? Because I'm pretty sure you probably had a favorite.
Okay. So I say challenge yourself. So I was in Georgia working at the power plant there, and an opportunity happened where I could go to California. Who would have thought I would go to California? I'm over here in the South, North Carolina, South Carolina. So I was in California for a year and a half. The project work I was working on, it was dealing with the power plant. I was dealing with licensing for it. So it was like verifying licensing and making sure regulatory that it was to par. But while there traveling, if you can take advantage of traveling, it opens up your perspective. So my favorite project was going out there to California. I ended up skydiving, surfing. Who would have thought I'd been out there surfing? And hiking and just embracing life. Now, I told you how I was doing every other Friday I had off. Well, when I was out there, I had every Friday off in California. So I just embraced it. I embraced life. I was driving up and down the state, just going San Diego. Yeah. So I embraced the career of traveling with the job. Any opportunity while you're young, definitely take advantage of it. I did a lot of different travel. And perspective is key, and it broadens your horizon of understanding how to deal with whatever place and environment you're in with the work that you do. So that would be my key one. I've had some other projects and stuff I worked on, but why not embrace? And yeah, but I came on back. Yeah. The cost of living is kind of crazy, but it was beautiful, the weather and everything, the mountains, and I just embraced it. So whatever opportunity for projects, and if it's an opportunity to travel, take advantage of it. I will say one thing I regret in college is I wish I would have studied abroad. I definitely wish I could have did that. That would be one thing if I had to look back at things. I wish I could have did that. But I did take advantage, like I said, with the work, jobs, internships. Catherine, I'm gonna put that out there. I traveled with the internships. I was in Ohio working at the Marysville, Ohio with the Honda plant. So internships are those opportunities to see what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And so any opportunity when you get in college, take advantage of that, of internships to build your resume, which brought me on full time after I did my last one with the company I started with. So.
Okay, that's good. So, but are there any projects like that you really just loved working on that stands out to you?
I mean, like I said, I've been dealing with the power industry. I was dealing with a project where it's the first of the there hasn't been a power plant built in 30 years. So the AP1000 plant. But basically, it gave me the opportunity to know that I'm making a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so the
30 years.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity where I knew I was making an impact, going back to making a difference. So that was really one of the project works where I really enjoyed, because I knew that it's history that's in the making too for it.
Yeah.
So that was one project work that I definitely enjoyed, just because I knew I was making a difference. And yeah, the work was, I was doing calculations, I was doing the same work, design work for it, drawings and all that for it. So
that's excellent. I definitely appreciate you for being on the show, and I'm really glad that Catherine asked that question about the project, because I actually used to work for a nonprofit, and we would build houses, for low income people. And when I would drive past that finished house, I'm like, I was there.
Yes.
I used the hammer
Yes.
on that house. And so I can definitely relate to you when you're talking about, seeing and being a part of something from the very beginning and being able to see that change as well. Tiffany, again, I mean, I just can't thank you enough for being a part of Today I Want to Be. And as always, I definitely thank you, Catherine, for your great questions. I'm so thankful that we have somebody that we were able to introduce you to that is in that engineering realm. That you want to be a part of as well. So I just want to let our viewers know, I thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you continue to share this video so that more people will know about that the mechanical engineering field, have a better understanding of what they can do as well. Our next two interviews that's coming up is April 15th. We will be interviewing Matthew Rose. He is a wealth advisor. And on April 22nd, we will be interviewing our English language arts teacher, Chantel Woods. If you're interested in being a Catherine, being a co-host, your students or your child, make sure you go to that description box and go ahead and sign them up so that they can interview our wealth advisor as well as our English language arts teacher. Another thing, don't forget to purchase your products. The purchasing link is listed in that description box. If you enjoy what you do, if you love what you do, and you want more kids and youth to explore your career, make sure you fill out that click on that link to become a feature professional as well. If you know any Hispanic women that love what they do, please share this link, that link to them as well. We hope that you guys have a great remainder of the night, and we will talk to you all later.